Hello, welcome to the FutureDDS Dental School Experience Series, where we help you decide on which dental school is right for you. Every school offers a unique and different experience, and who better to explain that experience than a student at that school? Our goal is to give you a firsthand perspective of every dental school across America and Puerto Rico that will ultimately help in you making the right decision on your school. So today, we will be showcasing Corey.
Coraima, but Corey's
Coraima, okay, we'll go by Corey, who is a student at University of Puerto Rico Dental School. Exactly, what's the name? Is it University of Puerto Rico Dental School?
It's University of Puerto Rico School of Dental Medicine.
School of Dental Medicine. Okay, cool. And what year are you?
First year.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for joining us, taking some time out from your busy schedule to help us out with this. If you can kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and explain kind of your journey into dentistry.
Of course. Well, my name's Coraima, as you just heard. I go by Corey. Everybody calls me Corey. If somebody calls me Coraima, I just think they're mad at me. Well, my road to dental school was actually a pretty hectic one. I graduated from undergrad in 2015. I was immediately accepted into the University of Detroit Mercy Summer Enrichment Program. That was about 6 weeks, I believe, and it was such an amazing experience. We had so much clinical exposure and so much exposure to what life as a dental student would pretty much be like. We took lectures, we had sim labs, we had hands-on activities, we took a DAT prep courses as well. It was very good at preparing. We had mock interviews as well. So that was really cool. After that, I left Detroit and took my DAT for the second time, and I did not get a competitive score. I was pretty much devastated. That pretty much took a toll on me. I was like, okay, maybe this is not for me. I should be looking into doing something else and whatnot. So I moved away from home and I started working at a hotel, which was non-science, non-dentistry, nothing related. And I was like, I started to get pretty comfortable. I was like, okay, this is good. This is life, adulthood. But then I was like, okay, no, Corey, you did not bust your butt off studying for every night for so long and get this far just to only get this far. So I was like, I quit my job. I sent my car back to Puerto Rico and I started from zero again. I started studying again for the DAT. I looked into what I did wrong the previous times I took the DAT. I took it 3 times, so third time was the charm. So I fixed my methods. I realized I did not do practice tests the first 2 times.
Okay.
Big mistake. Do practice tests. Practice. Yes. So yeah, I studied for quite a long time since I was out of school for a while already. So then I let's say I studied for about 3 to 4 months, but then here in Puerto Rico we were hit by Hurricane Maria. So that I had to postpone my test. I vividly remember using flashlights and candles just to do my DAT destroyer exercises for the day. It was insane. I was like, listen, that only gave me more drive. I was like, listen, this is my moment. I have to pass this test. So I scheduled it. I had to, there's only one testing center in Puerto Rico for the DAT, which was flooded and had no power, and it was insane. So I had to schedule it in Florida. I went and took it, and I was nervous wreck. But I got the scores. I was like, okay, this is something. Yes, this is better. Then I went out, applied to Puerto Rico, which is my main school. So and there were actually a deadline extensions because by the date I was able to take the DAT, very close to application deadlines. So I had to ask for many extensions for that, and it was a whole process. But I managed to get everything down in time. And a month later, I got a call for interview and did all that. And little did I know that a year later, I would be here. So
well, I'm glad we made it. It's a great story. A rocky road, but we definitely made it. And congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
So, I guess could you tell us a little bit about your school? Exactly where in Puerto Rico is it located? How is the city? Like, I don't know how big the island is necessarily, and then how big is like your class size, and a little bit more about your school.
Of course, of course. The University of Puerto Rico School of Dental Medicine is located in San Juan, Puerto Rico. That it's the capital of Puerto Rico. Uh, it's a, it has, it's. I was about to call it a beautiful little town. It's not little. It's pretty big and it has a little bit of everything. Actually, it's a perfect balance. You know, there's touristy. There's a cruise bay here, so we have a lot of tourists. Um, there's college cities, there's med school cities, there's dental school cities, there's a little bit of everything. There's so much culture, there's town vibes, there's city and nightlife vibes. It's literally a mixture of everything. There's a beach 10 minutes away from every place and beach weather all year long, so that's really cool and enjoyable. The class size is about 40 to 42 students per class,
Okay.
which is one of my favorite things because it's very personalized education, and I really enjoy that. The school per se offers a few programs. Offers the DMD, the Doctor in Dental Medicine, offers residencies in prosthodontics, and it has the general practice residency. It has oral and maxillofacial surgery, and I believe it's working on opening a periodontics residency as well.
Got you. Man, so I guess was the biggest thing for you location for staying home for school, or did you like what were some factors that went into your decision on where you wanted to apply and then where you ultimately wanted to go to school?
Yeah, location wise, I would say yes and no because I'm still far away from home. I'm about 3 to 4 hours away from home.
Okay.
But I do take into account first of all, the board passing rates. Class size is very important to me, and curriculum. How's the curriculum and clinical exposure as a student? Because if let's say there's not a good student to clinical chairs ratio, you are not going to get the necessary exposure that you need and are required to learn the necessary skills as a good prospective dental student.
Okay, cool. So I guess if you could remember back, how was that interview process? Like, how was the day? Kind of like, can you walk me through the day that you interviewed and how that process was?
Yes. So funny story. So I received a call, asking if I could come in for an interview. That was a Friday. And during that call, I was told, okay, we sent you an email because you are required to bring a portfolio on interview day.
Hmm.
And in that email are the portfolio instructions for what you have to put in it and whatnot. So I was like, okay, cool, yes, I'll be there. I was scheduled to be there on Monday at 6:30 a.m.
Wow.
So, and I see this massive list of all these things I have to put together. And every time I ask somebody from my class, I was like, how much time that you have for your portfolio? It was like, oh, months in advance. And I was called for my interview like 3 weeks before. I'm like, what? I was called on a Friday to get there on a Monday.
Wow.
So I was literally holding the doors at Office Max, like, listen, I need to print some things. So, but since I wasn't studying at the moment, so I had a lot of free time. I was like, dang, am I gonna get accepted? So I started like putting together a semi-portfolio because I knew I had to do it for that school, for my school particularly, but I just didn't know the rubric and the exact format of it. I was doing it all wrong. So at least I had everything gathered and I put it together. Actually, I have it here. This is like the portfolio I had to do.
Oh man.
What I had to do is put like your CV, your resume, and some, let me see, there's like research experience and some pictures of volunteering and things like that. That's like kind of a sample. I had to put it all together on that weekend. And then I got there. I stayed at a friend's house the night before because it was close by because I live very far away. So I got there at 6:30. Everything was dark. There was nobody there. I'm like, am I at the right place? So I see that was the moment I met one of who was to turn out to be a classmate of mine as well. That had an interview that day. So we were both like two tiny little nervous chihuahuas. We were like, what's going on? What do we do? Where do we go? Are we at the right place? I mean, if you're here, it means I'm supposed to be here. Like, it was weird.
All right.
So about 7 to 7:30, we were greeted. We were asked to hand in our portfolios and whatnot. And then we were taken to a conference room, and there we waited. The interviews were individual. We were interviewed by 2 faculty members.
Okay.
And the interview was about 30 to 45 minutes or so. And I was basically asked the good old, tell me about yourself. I was asked, what do I like to do for fun or in my free time? I was asked about how do I manage stress? How well do I work under pressure? If I was aware about the current insurance situation for dental plans in Puerto Rico, which is a very intense situation that's going on, that the rates that dentists are being paid has not changed for more than 25 years. Wow. So most of the dentists are leaving Puerto Rico. So there's a very severe lack of dentists here. So I was, and then following up that question, I was asked where did I see myself in the next 5 to 10 years, as well if I had plans of practicing as a dentist here in Puerto Rico, because there's such a big lack of dentists, because everyone that graduates, there's no jobs, there's no money coming in, and they just leave. So there's basically no dentists in Puerto Rico. Right. So I was asked things of that sort, and it was very conversational, very familiar-like. It was very easygoing, and ironically, I was not asked about my DAT attempts. I was not asked about my GPA, and I was told that they were completely unbiased because they didn't see my portfolio. They didn't know absolutely anything about me. So I guess they just wanted to see how I express myself about eloquency and things of that sort.
Okay, so kind of like who you are as a person more so. Than like
exactly.
Okay, cool. So once you actually ended up getting into school, because I see you had like a long road to actually get into school, how was it actually like transitioning into that first year? How were the first couple of months, and how have you settled in so far?
Oh my gosh, it was difficult. It was difficult because I had never studied away from home. So I was so used to my little library, my old desk, my old study habits. Gotcha. And since I have been away from studying and per se for so long, I had to adapt all over again into the classroom setting, because lectures are required. We have to be there. There's no online lectures or whatnot. We have to be in the actual classroom all day, all the time. Gotcha. And I had to adapt all over again, and even more so to the strong, studying for so long and being in class from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or later, and then just to dealing with exhaustion and just to go straight to the library or home to keep studying until much more later at night, and then to do it all over again. Right. It was pretty hard. It was pretty difficult and challenging. But once I managed to find my style and see what was kind of working for me, and which was my best setting for studying, if it was the library, if it was at home, where it worked more for me. And then I kept on studying and drinking a lot of coffee. I started from last semester. I was able to develop the stamina for these long dental days. So it was very challenging, I would say, the first 3 months, and it's still difficult, but now I know how to manage it. So it's still difficult, but I can deal with it.
Guys, you're kind of getting used to it.
Yes.
So I guess you said you mentioned a little bit about the schedule, like 7 to 4. You say, like, what does a typical day look like for a first year student there? How's the class schedule set up? Like, do you go in the clinic? Like, how's that?
Well, right now we are starting to get a little bit of labs in clinic, but right now we're at a point. It's very bizarre and it's very weird because no 2 days are the same. We have so many different classes at the moment. We have a lot of basic applied science. So we have this semester we're taking pathology, microbiology. We're taking dental anatomy, and one of my favorite classes is clinical applications of dental skills, which we are actually going to the clinic. And one of my favorite things was the fact that we had a lab that we took the impressions of each other. Right. And so that was like, we were full on dentist mode. It was the best. It was so cool. And it was funny. It was very funny and messy. But no 2 days are the same. We have one lecture from 7 a.m. to 11. We have a lunch break, but we use it to catch up on our labs and whatnot. We barely eat. And then from 1 to 4, we have another lecture, and it depends on the lecture. If it's micro, for example, we have a lab as well. And then, for example, on Fridays, it's completely different because we might have from 7 to 7:15 a dental anatomy quiz, and then from 7:30 to 8:30 a lecture, and then lab from that same class until 11, but sometimes it extends till 12:30. And then we go back into physiology from 1 to 4. Jeez. Or gross anatomy when we were taking it we had our lecture from 1 to 3, and then from 3 to 5 we had the lab. So it's pretty mixed because not all the classes have the same duration. For example, if on August 1st, let's say general histology began, that course was through September 19, for example. But then our biochem course that started the same August 1st was all the way through October. So we have a total mixture of classes that had already ended and others that are beginning, but classes that are still going on. So it's pretty messy, but yeah.
A little mix of the schedule. Okay, cool. So I guess for anyone looking to apply, what would you suggest that they kind of focus on now that will help them, be successful in applying and getting in, and then also be successful once they get in there?
Yes. My recommendation is do as much research as possible on the schools that they are looking to apply. Look for the requirements, look what they have, what they don't have, what they need, how much time do they have. For me, personally, organization is key. You have to set up what I used to call a pre-dental timeline in order to say, okay, by this year, I want to take these and these courses. Be strategic on the courses you want to take on which semester, and use these courses, these basic sciences that you are taking in undergrad, use them and actually learn, because once you are studying for the DAT, this base is going to only make it not easier, but smoother sailing. Right. Because knowing the basics is what's going to get you very, very, very far in the game. And just focus and organize and do everything on time.
Got you. So it seems like you can kind of have a pretty hectic or stressful day there. How would you say that you manage your work-life balance? How are you getting adjusted to that? And then does the school kind of help you with that? Like having different events out throughout the semester? Like how does that really work?
Yes. Our student council, they organize many activities to encourage overall and social wellness between first year, second year, third year, and fourth year students. We have a lot of lunch and learns. We have many student associations, but one of the coolest things is every semester, each class, each first year, second year, third or fourth, we get assigned a themed party. It's called La Muelita, which means little molar in Spanish. That's the name. And it's a different theme, and it's in the basement of the school. And there's dancing competitions and games, and we sell food and pizza and beverages, and even the faculty is there, and they have a blast, and they're all dancing, and then they use it as fundraising. The class that's hosting the party that day particularly uses the beverages and food and whatever that's being sold as fundraising for their class. So it's a win-win, and and everybody looks forward, like, it's Amuelita when you get to school, that that afternoon it's lit.
Cool.
Then they're also doing this. It's actually coming up next week. It's called La Odonto Copa, which is basically like dental Olympics. So we're all gonna compete against each other, first, second versus third and fourth. There's goofy games, there's field day type of games, there's a beach day, there's dental school games, there's dental skills, sorry, where we have like wax ups, and they have like dental competitions with the dental decks.
Cool.
And a lot of things really cool and dental related, and there's like all type of games for everyone. There's basketball, volleyball, soccer, there's like a mozzarella stick competition or something. So we're very, very, very looking forward to that, and especially us, since it's our first year going through all these events. So and then we have my class, we have a rule that we don't study on Fridays. Once we get out of school at 4 or 5 on Fridays, we either go out to dinner and unwind, or do something, or just go and catch up on our lost sleep from the week. So that's pretty much. And always, no matter how small or easy, which is rarely, after a test, we always have to celebrate. So that's how we get by.
That's good. It seems like y'all doing a good job out there of just keeping that balance.
We try.
You were speaking a little bit earlier about like wanting to be a provider, or more so going into like clinical work than research. I know a lot of people in dental school are leaning that way. How do you guys kind of get integrated into the clinic? What's like the progression from like first year to fourth year, or your experience so far with the clinic?
Yeah, at least in first and second, I know that in first we don't have much clinical exposure. And second, it's more a little bit of both. But when you actually go full on clinic mode, it's in third year.
Okay.
The clinic, from what I've seen, it's very divided and segmented in different modules. It's divided by last names, from the first letters of your last name. So there's like each group of, let's say, no more than 10 students. So, and each little module has a faculty member assigned. So, which for me personally makes it way easier, because you have a faculty member there always on demand to help you whenever you need and to teach you. For me personally, because in smaller settings, it's more personalized towards your learning style, and it's more suitable for you. And that's something that I am very looking forward to. Sometimes I go around and walk and just to look around, and it's a very, very dynamic system, and it's very, very well organized in that sense. Got
you. Sounds good. We're gonna wrap it up soon. I'm trying to think. So I guess, what are like some real major or like unique things about your school, like major advantages at your school that you wouldn't want to change about your experience? Like,
okay, one of the things is that the main type of patient that we receive in our clinic come from underserved background communities. So most of these people don't have the access needed, regular access to oral health and oral services. So once they get there, it's very, very, very severe and chronic cases. So I'm not saying it's an advantage, but learning wise, once you're done, you've already pretty much seen everything. So once you're there and you apply to a residency and whatnot, you're ready to tackle any type of situation and manage anything that's basically you will see it all, and that just blows my mind. And besides the fact that you are providing services to people that are in need, and you're preventing the fact of their oral health to affect their overall health, and you are helping in some way your community, and you're giving back to your people.
Got you, got you. So we're gonna wrap it up here. I don't want to take too much more of your time. Are there like any last words of advice that you want to give to anyone applying to school or just anyone interested in dental school right now?
Yes, my words is stay focused and stay strong. You know, it will all be worth it in the end. This, just know, this is one little step of this one big, amazing, beautiful, and rewarding career, and it will all be worth it so much in the end. Don't give up. I know it's gonna seem like sometimes impossible and you're gonna feel like quitting, but trust me that there is nothing more rewarding than receiving that acceptance letter and you feel that all your hard work has paid off. It will get tougher from here, but so will you. And anybody can do it.
Man, I couldn't agree more. But so we're gonna wrap it up. But if you wouldn't mind, if anybody has any questions about University of Puerto Rico School of Dental Medicine, or just anything about maybe your journey, ask you more questions, could you give them your Instagram or your email so that they can get in touch with you?
Of course, yes. My Instagram is mydentaldiaries ____. You can feel free to reach me, ask me any questions, anything I could help, any information I could provide. I am at your service. I'm always checking it, so feel free to let me know for anything.
Cool. So we'll make sure we put that link down in the description, as well as the link for the school, so that you can go check out any, anything about, general information on the school for all the viewers out there. But definitely on behalf of FutureDDS and all of our subscribers and viewers, I'd like to thank you for taking some time out of your day, out of your busy schedule. I'm sure you got some studying to do, so I don't want to hold you up. But thank you for giving us that great insight into your school and to your dental school experience so far. And best of luck to you heading forward, man. So everyone out there, if you haven't already, hit that like button and the subscribe button, as well as the notification bell, so whenever we post up new content. And continue to tap into this series, because we'll be giving you more gems and more great advice and perspectives that will help you hopefully ultimately make the best decision on which dental school is right for you. So thank you again, Corey, and see you all again next time.